Alright guys, in today's video we are going to be building and testing two different types of emergency heaters slash stoves, whatever you want to call them. Anyway, there's going to be two of them. I'm going to show you how to build them and then we're going to test them. The first one that we're going to build is called I think it's called many different things, but it's just basically a pop can stove. So what you're going to need is two pop cans, empty of course, and then I'm going to use a 2x4, and you don't have to use a 2x4. Basically all you're doing is you're going to take a 2x4 with a Sharpie, and then you're going to set your Sharpie on the 2x4 or whatever it is that you use, and you're going to use it to make an even line all the way around the pop can, so that way you have a line to cut by. Basically what you want is something that's about as high as the top of the barcode. That just seems to be a good height. So you're going to lay this down here, and then you're going to just spin the can till you get a line all the way around it. Next thing you're going to do is get a knife, scissors, whatever you prefer, and you're just going to cut on that line. It doesn't have to be perfect, but as straight as you can get is going to be the best. There's one. Alright, that's that. And then you can take just a pair of scissors and then you can kind of just trim it up. Doesn't have to be perfect. And what you're going to do is you're just going to take these two pieces of the can and then you're just going to put them together. It might be a little bit tricky. There we go. And you just push them on down. So then you're going to have a double-ended pop can, pretty much. And then your next step is going to be, you're going to take, I'm going to use two different sizes. You can use the same size for the entire thing, but I'm just going to use this punch because it's a pretty big diameter. And punch a hole right here on the top. That's going to be your fill hole. Then you're going to take a thumbtack, or push pin, whatever you want to call it, and then you're going to punch holes all around the perimeter right here. Just even, it doesn't really matter how many, just make sure they're all evenly spaced. Alright, so I guess maybe from putting all the holes in the top or something, for some reason this top can has just kind of started to rip and it just keeps getting worse and worse. So we're going to try again. I'm just going to redo everything I did and then we'll come back. Alright, so that took way too long. So I pretty much just redid everything that I already did, except for I got all the holes in it with no rips. So now we're going to go to the next step. So we can get all these out of the way. So our next step is going to be filling it with alcohol. Both stoves that we'll be using in this video are going to use 91% isopropyl alcohol. Like I said before, you have this middle hole, and then we have all the holes around the edge. So you just dump the alcohol in the middle hole until it's full. Just pour in kind of slow. You're going to spill some all over the place. Alright, so now the next step, and the one step that I really don't like about this stove is that you have to prime it. So normally, at least from the videos that I saw, what people did was they put a candle underneath of it to kind of heat it up. I don't have a candle, and I feel like that's probably going to take a little while, but I do have a heat gun. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to pretty much set the heat gun right here. Let it sit. It'll probably take about 3 minutes or so for the heat gun to heat this up until it's primed. You light it, and then you're supposed to use a penny from, I think they said before 1983, the pennies are like 100% copper or whatever, so they won't melt. But I found that you could use a nickel, because I don't have a penny that's that old. So we're just going to use nickel. Maybe we will... Oh, looky there. Oh. And now you have a nice little stove. So now this takes us into our next test. We're going to see how long it takes to boil a bottle of water. So we're going to take some 2x4s, probably put it about right here. That's about as much heat as a regular kitchen burner. Alright, let's get the camera repositioned and then we'll boil some water. Alright, so now that you guys have the top view, obviously I know that this thing will boil water. I'm just kind of curious as to how fast, and then I kind of want to compare it to the other stove that I have that I'm going to show you how to build. So we have one bottle of water, which is 500 milliliters or 16.9 fluid ounces. So put that in here, get out the stopwatch. All right, 3, 2, 1. All right, let's see how long it takes. All right, it's been 15 minutes, and with my laser thermometer, it is 210 degrees, 212 in some places, 210, 212. It was at that temperature at pretty much like, I think about 13 minutes. So the last 2 minutes it hasn't increased in temperature at all. So this is gonna be about the strongest boil that we can get with this thing, which is still very impressive, especially for something that was made out of used pop cans. So that's a very impressive stove. So let's move on to the next one. So that little pop can heater works pretty good. But this next one, is, the pop can heater, it's cheap, works pretty good, but it's, it has a little bit of a hassle with it. You gotta preheat it and do all that. So it works, but it's a little bit more hassle than what I like. So this other one is a little bit more expensive, but it's gonna be way easier to use. So all you need for this one is a 1 quart empty paint can. Make sure that it's metal. I think you can buy them from Walmart. I know you can get them off Amazon. That's where I got this one. You need a roll of toilet paper. And all you're gonna do, you need to get the cardboard piece out, which shouldn't be too hard. Oh, there we go. All right, so we don't need that anymore. Then you want to obviously get this toilet paper inside of here. Yeah, we're gonna have to take a bunch off here. That looks like it's still gonna be way too big. Yeah, we're gonna have to take off way more. That's gonna be so close. Ugh. Just a little bit more. The trick is you wanna get it in here. You wanna get as much toilet paper in here as possible, but you also want it to be really tight because it's gonna be like a wick. So you want it to, be really tight, obviously, so it can hold as much of our fuel as possible. I feel like we've pretty much taken off about half of this roll. So let's just fold it like this. Oh yeah, I think we're good now. Aha! And that'll kind of open up. All right, so there we go. Put your fingers in here, kind of look like a little hole, kind of like a well, I guess you would call it. This is everything that we had to take off. So we'll throw this away. Then now our next step is we need to fill it with our 91% isopropyl alcohol. And that's pretty much gonna do it. I don't know how much this will hold. I'm gonna assume a good amount. I think that's full. And then now, it means it's pretty much done. So now you would, if this was gonna be like an emergency stove or whatever, you would just put your paint lid back on there, pound it down, and it is good. It'll sit there for however long it needs to sit there, and then whenever you need it, you can open it up, and you have a stove, or a heater, or whatever. And then the way it works is you just light it up, just like that. And there's your stove. Yeah, that's way hotter than the other one, obviously, because it's so much bigger. Really. All right, fine, we'll do it this way. All right, so that's how this one works. Now let's do our boil test. So for the little pop can stove, I had the 2x4s stacked up. I don't have enough 2x4s to do that again with this one, but I have another idea that should work. Oh, look at that. Cinder block fits right over that. And then that gives me a perfect spot, I believe. Oh, look at that. That's like a perfect spot almost. Yeah, that's a perfect spot to cook, or to boil water. All right, so let's get this thing lit. Make sure this thing has enough airflow. Plenty of airflow. Same as last time, we have just 1 bottle of water. All right, the last time it took 15 minutes. 3, 2, 1. This is probably gonna end up being pretty smoky. All right, so we are about 7 minutes in, and we're already at 202 degrees. So it's already way faster than the other one. Okay, so it's roughly 7 minutes and 30 seconds. Yep, that's 212. That is a rolling boil compared to just a little bit of a boil from the other one. No surprise here, the bigger one is faster. This whole can doesn't even start to get hot until about up to here, but anything halfway or below is actually Probably not much more than room temperature. Yeah, the very bottom of this can is 73 degrees. So let's move on to our next test. Which one is better to cook with? I'm trying to get this thing started for the video, and for some reason it's acting all crazy. Before I turned the camera on, it had flames like up to here, and it was just like a jet engine just. Alright, so like I said, the next part of the video is going to be a cooking test. It's not really going to be so much like time related, like how fast does each one cook. It's just going to be more of like a quality thing. I'm going to cook, and then I'm going to test it, and then I'll cook with the other one, and then I'll test that. It's really just an excuse for me to eat, but it works. So we're going to put this here. Let that start getting a little warm. And then the first thing we're going to be cooking is bacon. I'm just going to cut right through this package and just cut all the bacon in half, because the pan I have is pretty small. We'll do 3 strips for some quality control. I think this is going to be a problem. So I think it's going to smoke like this and smoke out the entire garage. So that's going to kind of suck. The bacon's starting to sizzle already. That was really quick. I almost wonder if it would be beneficial to have this thing up higher. Let's see if I can come up with some more boards. There you go, here and here. We'll put one here. I guess maybe where I'm not like, this isn't an emergency and this isn't like a survival situation, this is gonna take forever. Let's try something else here, because I don't think I'm getting enough heat. So let's move this here, and let's move this here. Alright, this is this is really getting painful. Looks like that fire's kind of gone down. Maybe we can go back down. At this pace, this is going to take all day. Alright, I think this bacon is... Yeah, this bacon's looking done. Get this on a plate. We're going to fry an egg, see how that comes out. Let's go ahead. There we go. Flip that egg right there. This actually might turn out pretty good. Ooh, I think that's good. I think that is good. Put that over here. Now I need to grab a fork. So you can see the bacon. To me, this looks like good bacon. Really crunchy. I love crunchy bacon. I don't know about you, I think crunchy bacon is the best. Alright, let's check out the quality of our egg. Looks like the yolk is still a little liquidy, just the way I like it. Oh, perfect. Not too liquidy, just a little bit. Oh, come on, don't drip on me. Yeah, that is good. That is very good. If I was in a survival situation, this is what I had, I'd be thrilled. The whole time I was cooking it, I was kind of thinking that it was kind of slow, and it might have been a little bit slow, but it also could have just been me from where I'm just there staring at it, making a video about it. Made it seem like it took longer than it should have. But the results are really good. I'm gonna give the bacon an 8 out of 10. The egg, I'm gonna give the egg an 8.5 out of 10. Let's move on to the next one. I have this monstrosity set back up, except for this time I decided to go with 2 2x4s instead of just 1. I'm kind of hoping that I can keep the pan high enough that it won't just like smoke out the pan and it'll just, you know, heat the pan. So let's get this thing started. So we'll put 3 more pieces of bacon in here. Before I start cooking on this thing, my fear is that there's going to be too much heat here and it's just going to just cook everything really, really fast. So that's probably what's going to happen, but we'll see. It's going to smoke like crazy is what it's going to do. It's going to smoke out the whole garage. How's that look? Oh, that's actually like done. All right, now how am I supposed to fry an egg on this? Because this is huge. This is like a raging fire. All right, let's put you over here. Oh, let's just get down to what matters. Let's see how this compares to the other one. Just like before, I'll test the bacon. This bacon is much greasier, I can tell. It's still very good. Still very, very good. But it's not as crunchy as I would like. Let's look at the egg. Of course, overcooked. Not the way I like it, but it's alright. It's not that good. I mean, it's better than nothing, of course, but it's not all that good. I'm gonna give that bacon was a 7, and the egg, I'd give that egg a 4. If I had to pick between either one of these for cooking, for solely cooking, I would choose this one. Yes, it's gonna take longer, and it has a smaller flame, but you have more control. Just like whenever I was cooking the bacon, I was able to get it exactly the way I wanted it, and the egg, I was able to get it exactly the way I wanted it. With this, there's just so much flame coming out of here, you just don't know. Either you're gonna overcook it, you're gonna undercook it, you almost have to like throw it in the pan, and then just have like a timer, and then just be like, okay, and it's good. And you just don't have the same control with this one that you do with this one. Now, if I was going to pick one of these for like an emergency heater, you know, for like heating a very small space, it would obviously be this one, because this one puts out way more heat than this one. Honestly, they each just have their place. You know, this one would be great for sanitizing water, a little bit of cooking. This one would be great for heat. But on the other hand, this one could also be used for cooking and heat and all that other stuff. It's just not as easy to use. So if you're trying to survive and you're trying to make a gourmet meal, and you have your survival bacon and you have your survival eggs and everything, I would choose this one. All right, guys. One last thing that I forgot to mention is obviously fuel. Like I said, both of these are fueled off of 91% isopropyl alcohol. And obviously, as you can tell, this one is gonna be way more fuel efficient than this one. If I filled it up right before I did the whole cooking thing, and then once I got done, it was roughly about halfway full. Now, I don't know exactly how halfway full, how much that is, but half of this, and then I don't really have a way of measuring, how much fuel this one used, since it is, just toilet paper soaked in rubbing alcohol. I don't have a way to measure the fuel on this one, but they both have their time and place. This one would be great for heating. This one would be, not great for cooking, but if you didn't have any other option and you had pop cans and alcohol, it'd be better than nothing. So I know this video is a little bit different than what I normally do, but hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.